What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Vagrus, the Riven Realms, which has actually officially come out in 1.0. This is a game that, I can best compare it, so I'll give you an idea of the setting first. This is a game that is set in kind of a grim-dark fantasy realm that is currently in its Bronze Age. So you've got gladiators, you've got kind of Imperial infantrymen, you've got hoplites and stuff like that. But it's set in a world that has, orcs and has, monsters and has things of that nature as well. And you are the leader of a caravan, a comitatus is what they call it in the context of the game. And really, it's kind of an open-world sandbox RPG where you sort of do whatever you want. And I do feel like there's a very, very large lack of those going around lately. I'd like to see more games that focus on, trading, and not so much on, violence and whatnot. It feels like trading games have really fallen by the wayside, and I do think that Vagrus is probably the best hope of a revival for that genre. And so anyways, this is a game where you're free to pretty much do whatever you want. You manage your caravan, you cruise around the native lands, and you try to make money, and you try not to run out of it. That really is kind of the lose criteria, is when you run out of money, basically. You can't hire any of the people to look after your caravan. Now, big warning here at the beginning. The closest thing that I can compare this game to is Sunless Sea. This game has a lot of dialogue. This game has a lot of reading. This game has a lot of menus. It has a lot of things that you need to track and keep track of. But I think that's actually one of the things that makes it compelling. So whereas I think that, a lot of people are going to bounce off of this game, just largely due to the fact that it is imposing when you first get into it, just kind of all the stuff that you can or might want to do. At the same time, I have a hard time thinking of too many other games that focus entirely on being a trading RPG that have the amount of depth and things to do that Vagrus has. So anyways, we're going to dive on in today, spend about 30, I'll probably cut this one a little bit longer actually, just to do the game a little bit better of justice. But we'll be here for a while. You can check the game out, see if it's the right thing for you. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description so that you can check that out. You can also swing through my Discord. You can actually interact with me directly there. You can swing through my Twitter. I post on it sometimes when I feel a funny jokes coming on out. And then you can check out my Twitch stream where we may actually end up playing this one because I do want to get into it in more depth. So anyways, let's start a new game. The first thing that we've got to do is we need to make a character. I'm going to put the game on Wasteland mode. One thing to really keep in mind with Vagrus is that this is not a combat game. Combat is costly. Combat does not make money. At the end of the day, you are a trader. Your job is to make money by, buying something here and selling it over there. You can take combat quests, and you can become a mercenary company over time, but in the beginning of the game, it really does behoove you to avoid combat altogether. The other half is that we're going to be kind of skipping all this stuff over here because this character creation and the beginning tutorial portions of the game can easily eat up the entire 30 minutes that I have to show you stuff. So we're just going to go straight on into character creation. I'm going to make an orc. There are a number of races here that you can make. They all have kind of different perks and things that they're good at. Some of them are better at trading. Some of them are better at fighting. Some of them are better at knowledge. Just kind of depends who you pick. Actually, we could do a dwarf. He's got evaluate right there. That's pretty good. I like the idea of evaluate. Yeah, let's do that. That'll allow me to track prices a little bit better. And maybe make us a little bit of money on, perks and whatnot. I would like to be an adventurer. Well, maybe not an adventurer. What does the veteran get? You get boost, you get fighter, one tough. Artisan, we get engineering. Okay, we can be a scholar. We can be a criminal carpenter. That's kind of an... I don't normally think of carpenters as being criminals. We'll just go for the simple one for right now. We'll go with a dwarvish adventurer. All right. We can decide what we want to be. You can be a trader, a mercenary, or an explorer. Explorers tend to do better on the world map when it comes to randomized events and things you have to deal with while you're on the road. Traders tend to make a lot more money because they have the ability to appraise things and figure out what they're worth. And mercenaries tend to do a lot better in combat situations because they start out with a much larger defense retinue, stuff like that. But honestly, this is just kind of like a starting point for your skills. All of the bonus stuff that they kind of give you, the bonus stuff can all be gained through other means as you play the game. It's just really the perks that are going to stick with you forever. So I'll go with a trader since that's in the spirit of the game. For our ambition, we want to become renowned. I want to be a famous trader. Someone like Marco Polo, where they tell my story forever for adventuring. And then we get to decide what skills we want to take. There's all kinds of stuff here. Honestly, it would take forever to go through all of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with kind of like a idea of a character for myself. I'm going to put all the points in, and then we'll come back in and we'll talk about just sort of the synopsis of that character and the impact I expect him to make on the universe that we're going to be living inside of. Okay, so I've got all my points in play right now. You've got a couple of different things. You have resourcefulness over here. Resourcefulness is a stat that's just for like various stuff. You get extra movement points, things of that nature. You have authority. This is how well you keep your caravan in line. This is actually a very, very important stat for maintaining some level of cohesion amongst your cohort. We've got no leadership abilities except for traverse, and so I can use my resourcefulness, which is these little pips over here, in order to gain extra movement points on a day. This can save you. This is very, very important. I would definitely keep that slotted on in. I see my character as kind of a keen-eyed appraiser, a deal maker, the kind of guy that gets stuff done moving things from point A to point B. So I gave him 2 points in evaluation so we can figure out what objects are going to be valuable. I gave him magic sense so that we can occasionally find magic items when we're going through just the various listing of stuff. I gave him persuasion for deal making. I gave him 2 in charisma, so this is our ability to inspire and earn trust. And then we've got 2 in savvy, so he's a little bit smarter. And then we've got tough over here. You are going to get more insight as the game goes along. The game does not use an XP-based system for advancement. Instead, the game rewards you in the same way Sunless Sea does by, like, doing stuff. So as you go places, you see things for the first time, you meet people for the first time, you complete jobs, things of that nature, you will gain insight points. And so none of this stuff is locked. We can increase this stuff later on, but insight is a limited resource. There's only so much insight on the open world map at the beginning of world generation, so you do want to be careful because this is not just for your advancement. Insight can also be given to your followers to make them better as well. And so there really is kind of some hand-wringing and some pearl clutching, I think, about the character advancement in this game. Our name? Oh, I don't know, dude. We can go with, we'll be Rogar. Let's be Rogar Iron Saddle. That sounds good. That sounds like a sweet name. Oh, it doesn't like me having a last name. Okay, I take it back. All right, and then we'll just continue onwards. Sleep slowly but steadily overwhelms you. It is late. In the exhausting journey of the mesmerizing voice of the old man you don't know, you faintly recall stumbling to your tent and crawling outside, and then is only darkness. Okay, morning creeps up quietly on the arid wasteland. We've been given a quest, effectively. This old man is going to tell us to go meet a buddy of his in the nearest city. And so we're just going to, like, get onto that because this is a long conversation. We'll wish him well, and then this is what the game actively looks like right here. I'm sorry to those of you that really like the kind of the scene setting and the lore dumps and things like that, but this is a very wordy game in the same way that Sunless Sea is a very wordy game. And so they're going for immersiveness. I have read all these things, like I know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And so we're going to get up to that, but we can only see this far on the map. This grid right here, effectively, that's how many movement points it's going to take us to go from here to here. In the top left, you can find on the UI, we've got our movement points. This is forced march points, so if we use our forced march, it makes people upset, but you can cover a lot more ground in the case that you're like running low on supplies or something is going critically wrong. We've got the morale of our company. They are currently obedient. We've got how rested they are, how fed they are. We've got our cargo, how many days worth of supplies we have. We have our defensive power, and we have our offensive power for if we are attacked or if we plan on attacking anybody. We have no deputies right now, so you don't really need to worry about that. There is a little wheel that's always going to surround your comitatus. It gives you the option to camp, and it gives you the option to scout. Scouting gives you some rough idea of what's going to be ahead if there's an event there or anything else. Resting is what you do when you run out of energy. We have access to this little hand-drawn map up here. There we go. It's taking its sweet time to open. We've got to go to Torzag's shelter, where you're going to get introduced to a character who is based on somebody you might know. So we'll kind of head that way. We don't really have much else to accomplish here. We'll march out to 4. That sounds good. And then, do I have... Let me see here. Can I... So we've moved to the road, and we're going to need to camp. Inside this camp menu, don't be too worried about this. This game is very, very intimidating when you first come on into it. But at the end of the day, all you really need to know is that in the top left right here, you have your daily upkeep. This is how much your soldiers are charging you in order to stay loyal, effectively. And they will start to desert if you take too long without paying them. The good news is it'll give you a warning if you haven't paid them in too long, and it'll say there's grumblings around the camp. But there's no real negative effect that surrounds that event. That's just kind of the game notifying you like, hey, maybe we should pay the troops. We can adjust how much we feed everybody just in case we want them to be like more obedient or more nourished, more rested, so on and so forth. And then over here on the right, it's important that you set up your defense orders. So you can set up like how many guards you have effectively to keep an eye on things. So you can keep your obedience up, you can keep your morale up by posting like a full retinue of guards. So if we do that right there, that's the perfect example. I think this may negatively affect your vigor, though, but I'm not entirely sure about it. And then we end the day, and that's going to give us all of our points back. Walking on roads is much faster than walking through the hinterland. I highly recommend that you do not walk through the hinterland as much as you can help it. It will create problems for you. You will run into things that go wrong. We've got to go all the way up to Torzags, and so, like, it should take us a couple days to get there. But once we arrive, I think that we'll be all right. One thing that I would like to see is automated resting. So I think they should add like a little checkbox right here where you can set up all of your... So if like you can set up your camp menu. That's what I would like to be able to do is set up my camp menu. And then there's a little box right here that says auto rest. With current settings, and then as you walk, it just automatically rests you when you run out of movement points, unless you otherwise uncheck the box. Just so you don't have to keep opening and closing the camp screen. I think that is one of the fiddlier things with the UI that I think I could do without. But other than that, that's like the one thing that I'm like, I would rather not, but you know, I'll do what I have to here. Let's go visit our contact inside of Torzags. We'll do that on the morrow, I guess. We'll rest for a little bit, and then we'll head on into Torzags' shelter. You reach the fortified gates of the great city. After waiting your turn in line, chatting travelers, bleeding beasts of burden, swearing loaders, exhausted slaves, decrepit pilgrims, and fellow Vagri, you are greeted gruffly by the guards under the shadow of the gatehouse. We can approach. So they're going to inspect us. We have nothing to hide, so that's fine. And then we've got to pay a gate tax in order to get into town. We've got different coins. You've got Bros, you've got Lurg, and then you've got Changers, I guess. And so we'll head on into the Mancio. We're supposed to be meeting up with somebody in the market district, according to the old man at the beginning of the game. You guys didn't see that portion, but this is basically how you start out. Let's go talk to Braxius. And look, it's me. They actually, after I covered the game a couple of years ago, they put me in the game as like one of the intro guys. You make your way to the part of the market that lies east of Cal-Rish Market. Huddled between two taller, decrepit buildings, Braxius' storefront is not much to look at. Only his name is written on the stone slab above the doorway. There's no sign, no display, no stall, nothing. Inside's a dark little room with a dirty counter, a strange odor and nondescript trash that barely passes for wares. And a demon-kin fellow fiddling absent-mindedly with a gadget. He looks up as you enter. "What can I do you for?" he says with a ghoulish grin. He can't help it. He's got pointed teeth, a big nose, a crown of jagged horns. It's on the top of his head, but also the side of his jaw. His eyes burn with a pale orange light, and he's surrounded with an almost palpable aura of nervousness. Surely this can't be the guy you were supposed to be meeting. "You Braxius?" "Yep, in the flesh," he bows his head theatrically. "I specialize in connecting people. I might have someone you will find useful and even help you in getting them to join you. And I owe Agos, so like, there, everybody wins." "Okay, so like, what's it gonna cost me?" There's a lady with a very special skill set that I have in mind. She's good in finding her way across the wasteland, she's also good in a fight, and she can track down pretty much anybody. She's a bounty hunter, and she's looking for a comitatus to join so that she can traverse the realm and claim bounties as she does. I also heard that she may have some kind of connection to the Imperials, but you'll have to ask her about that one herself. Your name is Krifta. Okay, what do you want for this? Nothing, like I said, I owe Agos, and he told me I can pay him back by aiding the people that he sends over to me. Weird, right? Not so much anyways. At any rate, I can arrange a meeting. Yeah, sure, we can meet her. Minutes after you tell Braxius you want to meet her, he's closed down the shop and he's leading you to find her. You find a quiet table in a tavern corner while Braxius gets drinks, and by the time you finish the first, a woman shows up with a strange gait and greets you. Krifta looks like a cross between a human and some kind of carrion bird, clearly the result of the taint. She observes you with large beady eyes and clacks her beak before addressing you in a chirping voice. "So, they say that you're recruiting. You need a scout, a tracker? I can do that. I've been all around the continent. Tough as nails and know how to hunt. It's true what the demon spawn says, Vagrus, but as you can see, I have questions." Okay, yeah. I'm just going to decide so that we can get moving. I'm going to take her on, and I'm going to pay her 3 Lurg. So there it is. We got our first party member, and those are going to be added to our cohorts. "Excellent," Krafta says as she pockets the coins. "I'll buy rations and gear for the road. Also, there's a job I was offered. You might be interested in becoming partners on that. We can talk about it later. I'll meet you at the Mancio. The sooner we leave the city, the better." She leaves in a hurry. Now that Krift is taken care of, I can help you recruit another guy. 2 options, in fact. You want to hear me out? All right, let's hear it. Cool, so there's 2 guys in Torzags that I could put you in contact with. Both have problems. I can help you solve their problems for them, one that is. I mean, I can help you with one of the 2, and you'll owe me for it. You ask him about the 2 individuals. One's a dwarf, and a pretty nasty one at that. He's connected, though, and knows a lot of people in low places. The other one's an orc, and he's tough, even for his kind. He's somewhat of a celebrity around here, a gladiator. But then he started to train people that wanted to become warriors rather than warrior himself, and he's fed up with that. Now he wants to travel, so, you know. Okay, let's take the orc. Good. As I've said, Goro Goro's an orc, and as you'd expect, he's a pretty good warrior. Kind of a celebrity, in all honesty. His gladiator days are behind him, but an associate of his, Alanista, has gotten into trouble. He's got the opportunity to field a couple gladiators against the gladiators of his accusers, and should he win, clear his name. However, he himself cannot step into the arena, and only Goro Goro stepped up to defend him, meaning they are 2 gladiators short, but I got 2 guys to round out the team. You win the fight, you will make Goro Goro indebted to you. He wanted to leave Torzag anyways, and you will owe me a favor, right? You want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Now we're talking. The pawnbroker claps. All right, you go about your business. Give me an hour to get things done. Sounds good. Out onto the street. So inside every single city, there's various tasks that you can undertake. The most important one is going to be this little flag icon right here. It's going to allow you to take jobs for the guild. Because you are a trader, most of it is going to be like transit and logistics. So there'll be people that are like, hey, take this 20 stone over to this place over here, and then you go do it and you get paid. And in fact, I do highly recommend, having played around with the game, that you do that, because unless you've got like a good 100 brass laying around, money goes down quickly. And so I like to get myself a little nest egg so that I can kind of just do things freely for a while without worrying about my financial status. Other people can play the game a little bit closer to the red line if they want, but that's just the way that I prefer to do it. You'll find that in our deputies right here, we've got Krifta has joined us, and now we're going to go get Goro Goro, and I'm pretty sure that's in the market district. Yeah, Drius's compound over here. All right, so you walk into an atrium that is the main hall and call out loud if anybody is there. In the poor light provided by braziers and twinkling crystal lamps, you notice a man enter and walk slowly towards you. Salve, he says without enthusiasm. Afraid I can't help you. The school is closed. The man is wearing leather armor in the imperial style with a gladius impugio hanging from his belt. His bitter face is framed by balding hair that's turning gray. This must be Drius. All right. What happened? And so, roughly, he's going to tell you that he got into trouble with the city leaders, he was accused of a crime, and now he has to duel in order to prove his innocence. And so we will offer our aid. There we go. And so we accept Goro Goro's offer for him to join us in exchange for helping him in the fight, and then he will become another member of our retinue. Sorry if I'm moving fast through all of this, but there's like a lot of dialogue, and I want to show off gameplay. If you guys are deeply upset by the way that I covered this game, I will take that into account when I get further, games that are like this, that are very, very wordy. But I'd rather leave like all the nitty-gritty of the dialogue to you, and then I'll just explain kind of what happened until we can get up to the free play portion of the game. All right. So we end the day, and it is the day of the fight. We arrive at the agreed-upon place, and it's time for us to battle. You enter through a gate arch and follow the others down some dark corridors and ascend some stairs and arrive at a premium box. This is where Paulus Antius is. The small, aging magistrate sits in a high-backed chair with a bored expression wrapped in furs against the chill. Overseeing this matter is clearly a great convenience for him. A tall, thin fellow in a turban, colorful clothes, and expensive jewelry is buzzing around the praetor, whispering in his ear constantly. This must be the man who Drius wronged and now has a face. The instructor walks up to them while Goro Goro and you stay back. You can see both the indifference on the face of the praetor and the contempt of the face of the Tarkian diplomat. Okay. You spot a boy of 10 or 12 in Tarkian garb standing in a row of chairs. His left eye and forehead are bandaged. He is holding the hand of a little girl with shaggy brown hair and large eyes. Drius walks over, kneels down, and hugs her. He says something and she strokes his rough face. It's his daughter, Goro Goro growls. She was taken by the praetor until the matter is resolved as a hostage for leverage. Okay. So here we go. We're ready to fight. So fights are pretty simple in this game. It's pretty much like they hit you, you hit them. We've got Leorak, which is one of the thugs that Braxius gave us specifically for the fight. And so we can do a rigorous jab over here. These guys have armor as far as I know. And so, like, if we click on them, we can figure out what their evade and their block and their armor and everything else is. So that person has the most armor. We're going to have to strip that. So I'm going to start with the Slinger. And if we can get rid of him, maybe that'll minimize a little bit of the damage that we're going to have coming in. We have been hit with a Sling Stone. Kind of sucks. Would rather not be hit with a Sling Stone. I've also been stabbed with a Gladius. This is not going great. He can't do anything from the position he's in, so we got to move forward. Goro has Mighty Swing. I'm going to say go for the Mighty Swing right there, and they both evaded. We might actually lose this. This fight is actually kind of close, even if things are going well, so there's a pretty good chance we're going to lose here. Keep stabbing the Slinger. Eventually he will go down. He's at half health now. Slinger threw a stone. We got lucky and dodged right there, so you love to see that. I'm going to have him go for the double swing again. He hit her for 1, but, you know, we got to strip armor off people, so maybe I'll do that next turn as we'll start breaking armor. If they would stop kicking this guy back in the line, it would be great. Unfortunately, we've also been javelined right there, which is kind of a bummer. We're taking a reasonably decent scuffing right now. I'm going to break the armor on her because she has 2 armor. That's going to make it so I can actually deal damage to her from here on out. I am going to start focusing... Well, let's go after her. Her armor is pretty much stripped, and so we can actually now start to deal damage. I'm not exactly sure what he did right there, if he just, like, belly bumped me or what. Evade right there, very, very bad. I would have liked to have scored a hit right here, but hits, unfortunately, don't seem to be forthcoming. Let's go for a stab right there. Partial block, so 2 damage is good. I would love for this person to die. That's what I really, really want. Oh, he can't swing over to there. Okay. Maybe we bull rush this guy back a line? Nope, can't do it. Their dodge and everything is just too high. There's no adjacencies here. It's really unfortunate that I can't hit that right there. Kind of bummed out about it. It's slowing down the fight, and it doesn't need to be slowed down. I need the fight to go quickly. She's got 5 HP. She's down to 2 HP. Eventually, she should hopefully die. We may lose one of our thugs. He's got a turtle on his head, so I feel like he don't have that much to lose anyways. Like, the point at which you're going into battle with a turtle on your head, I'm like, eh. There we go. We finally crossed one of the dangerous threats off the list. We can start wumping over here, but because of his armor, we're going to have a hard time taking him out. We'll go ahead and finish off the Slinger as well because he has no armor and, like, no defenses. So it should be pretty easy to resolve. I'm going to strip his armor real fast so that we're getting full damage on him from here on out. He now has 0 armor. Slinger took a shot at one of our bandits and missed. Unfortunately, Goro is starting to be a little bit beat up. Goro's had better days. Please hit. Oh my god, another block. Okay. As long as they keep, like, spreading the damage around, I think we'll be alright, but it's kind of hard to say. There's 4 more damage out. He's definitely not doing well, and he swapped targets right there, which is really, really good. Let's go for a final spear stab on the Slinger. Sounds like a plan to me. 4 damage right there from the club. Very, very nice. He should be kind of on his last legs. I don't really know where to put you that you can actually, like, do something. You've got a spear, and so I sort of feel like, hey, there it is. He crits me, I crit you, we all crit each other, everything is fine and works out for the better. And that's what combat looks like inside the context of Vagrus. The enemy gladiators lie on the sand, bloodied, defeated, but alive. The crowd is chanting Goro's name in a frenzy. There is no dispute any longer. No question about Drius's honor. You win. I won't forget this, Vagrus. I can now try to rebuild the school, and perhaps you could drop by sometime. The little girl waves, and they go. I'm a man of my word, Goro says. I'm ready to leave the city in an hour. I'll find you at your berth, Vagrus, right after I say goodbye here. Cool. And so we completed the quest. Just barely. Just barely. It is possible to fail that one, though. The downside is that we now owe Demonkin a favor, so that sort of is what it is. Every time you visit, this game actually has pretty much the same structure as Sunless Sea. If you haven't been to a place for a while, you can come back to a place, and basically you can choose to explore any of the various areas for, like, random events and things to come up in quest prompts. There's a market over here where you can buy and sell stuff, but we don't know what the prices are going to be looking like anywhere that we go. We do have some luxury wine on us, and it sells for a decent amount of money, so I'm just going to get rid of it so that we have seed cash. in order to get started in the game. So now we've got 33 brass ready to rock, and it cleared out some inventory space. We need to buy some supplies, but let's get a job first. So they want me to do a supply run to Atris's quarry. This is clickable, so if you wanted to know where stuff is at, your little red flag right here, it'll tell you exactly where you're supposed to be going in order to get jobs done if you click on the locations. I think that's a really, really good thing for them to include. Lumen is up and back that way. Okay, so they want me to distribute to Lumen. Is there multiple stuff going to Lumen? There is indeed multiple things going to Lumen. However, it's taking up too much inventory space, and we're going to need supplies for the road. You can also buy mods and things. So if you go out to the marketplace, you can buy equipment, extra things that you can put on your pack beasts. You can buy dogs to protect your camp. You can get hunting dogs. You can get mining equipment so that if you come across a mining event, you've got a +1 to your prospecting. Basically a very customizable game where you can definitely like kind of give your caravan skill sets, sub-skill sets, and then like tertiary skill sets. Like some stuff you're really good at, some stuff you're kind of good at, some things you're not very good at. And I sort of like that about it. Just, I think that layer of depth actually makes the game a lot better, even though it's a lot to take in and figure out like what exactly it is you need at any given moment. One thing that I would recommend picking up early is that you have workers that like work for your caravan. So if we take a look at our crew, we have 7 soldiers, 2 scouts, 5 workers, and 8 slaves. What you can do is you get these awnings right here, and it lowers the amount of resources they eat on any given day. It lets you stretch your food out a little bit further, which I think is kind of nice, actually. It can be sort of helpful. There's no adjustment on how much it's costing us day to day just to survive, but we know that it's about 60 a day because we have 184 and we've got 3 days worth of food left. So we'll probably want to stock up on food. You can do that by shift-clicking on the icon right here. It'll bring up this menu. I'll buy 150. And then I also need to fill out that other stack, and it looks like we're going to need like 66, I guess. I think you can just type it in, too. There we go. Perfect. So now we got enough food for 9 days. We can actually make a run. Let's get ourselves a job here. Let's go up to Lumen. It's not paying very well. If there are better jobs, I will take them. The Crimson Gate, that's a pretty good paycheck. Man, there's so many jobs going to Lumen. I super, super hate that we can't take multiple jobs. We can, actually. So if I take this one, and I take this one. Yeah. That's about right. All right, let's set out for Lumen. There's not a whole lot left here to do. You approach the mighty gates of Torzag's shelter. One can see the scorching desert sky loom above the cruel black battlements as the Comitatus takes its place in a long line at the vast gate. You notice a lean woman dressed in bureaucratic tunics and capes approach one of your guards and talk to him. They walk up to you soon after. Apologies, Vagrus, the woman says, bowing her head. I work for the Magistrate of Tax Collection. No need to be alarmed. I'm here to present you with an opportunity. I have a message attached to some documents that need to be delivered to Arkan to a client of ours. Should you take the message, you'll be compensated for handing it over. What say you? Sure, why not? That's fair enough. Our client is a very resourceful man who works for a researcher of renown. He's awaiting our message in Arkan to the north, where he rents a small apartment above a tobacco shop on Siltwade Street. His name is Levantius. Okay, sounds good. We need to chart this out here real fast. I think we need to take this road on the side right here. And that's going to take us up to Arkan, I think, or Lumen. Yeah, looks like we've got to make this Lumen run over here. That's a long run. I'm a little bit actually worried that we're going to have the supplies to actually make this happen. Let's go for a full burst day. People are going to be mad at me, but I'd rather get the job done. I'd rather make some, like, while everybody's happy, I would rather march them now than have to do it later when they're already upset about things. Let's go ahead and take a look, and yeah, dude, we've made good. Maybe we'll double march tomorrow, too. Everybody needs to be paid, so we'll pay them, and then we'll keep on going. I would like to go 14 right there. Yeah, we can do that. Let's do a big march right here. First 2 days are going to be rough, but after that, it's easy peasy living on Easy Street. Because it's Easy Street, and it feels so sweet. Because life is just a treat when you're on Easy Street. Doop-doop-doop-doop-doop-doop. Alright, so Lumen's up there, although it doesn't actually look like a town proper. This might be bad. Es possible that this might be real bad. If that's a town, it looks like a very little one. Hopefully we can resupply there. Let's go ahead and march it on into Lumen and see what happens here as we get further on into the game. Those persistent enough to travel towards the blinding light and scorching heat of the South Caloris eventually reach the town of Lumen and glimpse the sandstone buildings protected by the shielding wall. Most of the settlement was built under the sands, sheltered from lethal temperatures and the unbearable shine of the surface. At night, brigades of prospectors flood the still searing crystal forest to get their hands on as rich a bounty as they can, hauling it back to Lumen's bustling underground markets. Apart from the Imperial crystal harvesting, the town is famous for its resident crystalmancers, ever delving into the secrets of the Calaris. Okay, so there's a tavern. We can ask people about stuff, but we're not interested in that right now. We're interested in getting this payday, so we're going to go ahead and drop off the mushrooms, and we will drop off the beer. And that has actually given us a nice, stiff little reinforcement to our financial situation. I haven't decided how I'm going to apply that just yet. I think it might be a good idea to pick up some more crew. They do have fighters here that will raise our upkeep, but it will make us more protected and more likely to be able to defend ourselves should we be attacked on the road. And believe me, brigandry happens. If you're looking to actually do things the sterile way of trading, just old school space trucking, like kind of EVE Online or Elite Dangerous style, you can do that. You click on this little button right here, and it'll give you a list of the prices at every town that you've been in, and you can just compare the list effectively. I would prefer that this actually get folded into the main display on this side. Like, I would prefer for it to be based on your evaluation. It would have like little arrows over here basically next to the buy and next to the sell telling you whether or not it's a good deal or a bad deal. They could actually get rid of that entire menu right there for trading characters altogether. But I suppose that's kind of part of the immersive nature of the game, is they want you as a trader to kind of be going through your ledgers and figuring out what you can move from where in order to make life more successful. So taking a look at things, it looks like, from what I can see so far, not a lot of great deals here. It looks like we can eke out some money on ceruleus crystals if they actually have those. They do have ceruleus crystals, so let me resupply real fast. I think that if we get like 212 supplies, so we need 212 supplies. And then I think we load up on ceruleus crystals. Oh, that's going to take all of our net worth. But on average, we'll make 1 silver, basically, or 1 copper off of each one of these. And so it should add up to a nice little payday. In fact, let me check and see if there's any jobs here. Do they have anything that they want me to take back to Torzag's shelter real fast? There are 2 escorts that we can do on the way to Torzag's. On second thought, I don't think I'm going to take these. I feel like there's a good chance, yeah, there's going to be fights involved with these. And, like, you really want to avoid fights in the early game, so I think this is just going to be a bog standard trade run, unfortunately. Hopefully we don't get rooked, but I can stack on a few more crystals before we get out of here. There are quests and things that you can seek out inside the villages, so that's also something that you can definitely do if that's what you're into. So basically there's kind of generic jobs, and then there's main quest lines as well, and the main quest lines tend to be the ones with the big rewards and the big paydays. But for right now, we're kind of like a little baby Vagrus, and so we want to take it slow, and we want to be very, very careful about getting ourselves murdered. I know, who would have ever thought that getting murdered is a bad idea in the context of any game? Yeah, we can move as far as we can. Oh, really? He'll, like, force march right there, too. Okay. I thought that once we ran out of AP, you've experienced rising disobedience among your workforce. Slaves are in part responsible for preparing and handing out food at the end of the day when you make camp. Unfortunately, there's opportunities for error. Being disgruntled, the slaves slip up. Meals have not been savory or nutritious, and this is the night that everyone realizes. You and your komes munch on the bad food and grumble about the lot. We've got to decide what we want to do here. We can punish people. I'm just going to do nothing for right now. Like, I don't see the point. I think I force-marched people a little bit too hard. So we have distressed morale right now. I can fix that. It's just going to take some time. We just got to get back to Torzag's. The Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your Komes are in a bad mood. Yeah, we'll turn things around, dude. You managed to avert or prevent the worst things that have come up today. Let's take a day and just kind of relax for a second. Yeah, let's fix our obedience issues with double rations and a full retinue of guards. There we go. So now we should be in better shape. I'll probably actually do the same thing tonight just to future-proof us a little bit. Yeah, we'll give them extra meals. You can, like, whip people, or you can free slaves. You can do that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's kind of dark. It's not the kind of stuff that I get into in video games, but the options are there. Let's go ahead and jump on in, and we got to pay the gate tax. There it is, and I need to get my payday real fast. We got to... Hey, and there you go. I think we get, like, one of the middle coins and one of the changers for each one of these that we sell. So it actually came off pretty good. I don't know if the price is going to adjust based on us selling here. If nothing else, we broke even. And, like, there weren't any good jobs to do up there in Lumen, so I think that's kind of one of those things you want to keep in mind as well, is that Lumen is kind of a dead zone. There's not a whole lot to do up there. And so, the fact that we only lost one Bros going up there and coming back and got some reputation out of it, I'm pretty happy with. Like, I'm not upset with that result. We need to buy 398 meals. There we go. So we're stocked up for another 9 days on the road. We could buy some equipment. We do have a little bit of stuff going on. So blinders makes us better in a chase, makes our outriders stronger. Maybe we consider making our retinue a little bit stronger. So it costs actually not that much in order to hire a few more guards, which I think is a good idea. That'll raise our attack power. What other jobs do we have around here? We've got a supply run for House Darius. Somebody gave us something to go up to Arkan, right? So we can go to this one right here. It's only $9, which kind of sucks. That one's also $9. I need to get some more slots over here is what I really need to do. Can I buy more pack animals? Oh, there's passengers that want to go to Arkan too. Yeah. We don't know what Arkan's prices are, so I don't really know what I can take up there yet either, although it seems to me like linen is usually pretty easy to distribute in like the outward areas of the kingdom that are outside of Torzags, and so carrying linen with you usually pays off in my opinion. Sometimes you get smoked, but we can get some more beasts of burden. They're expensive, but it's possible that it'll increase our ability to, they're $25. Oof, we're gonna have to take a job on that one. Yeah, I'll buy another beast of burden. There we go. That opened up our cargo a little bit so that we can, like, take more stuff. So we got a supply run right there. What else do we have going up to Arkan? We've got a supply run going up to Arkan. That's like, I need to get my stuff kind of arranged. There we go. All right, let's head up to Arkan. We've arrived at a little place called Crossroads. You can't investigate here. There's some little events and stuff that can happen, but I'm more interested in turning around a profit right now, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll go up this way, and I think Arkan is, yeah, it's right over here. We're going to stick to the roads for right now. It's just safer this way. I'm going to pay everybody right now. I do wish that it saved your button presses right there. I'm the kind of person that prefers to pay what I owe every single day. And so when I rest, I would appreciate it. Oh, we can lock it. There we go. Lock the setting. There is that option. I just apparently did not do a good job. Oh, we can send people out to harvest as well. Yeah, that's not too bad idea. So they have a 100% chance to fail. They have a 60%, 3 to critically, 30 to succeed. And we'll wait till we have more workers then. I don't want to gamble with the dice on that one. But we made it to Arkan, so let's see if we can get our payday here and kind of bounce back. The scouts look for an adequate place to camp for the night and find an exceptionally good spot. There's some water nearby and a crevice and proper cover that grants protection thanks to the terrain. Also, there's another group occupying it already. Looks like a comitatus. Beasts, people, wagons. You know, they are colorful and the people are much happier to see you than a comitatus would be. They come unbidden and offer all kinds of services. Pot mending, fortune telling, professional companionship. The smell of bogweed abounds. In minutes, there are already jugglers accompanied by flute players and they only ask for a small donation. No. I don't like getting mixed up with people on the road, dude. Like, we got, like, carnies or something happening here. Like, I'm just like, this seems like I'm gonna get ripped off. That's what it feels like to me. So we do have these jobs to drop off. that's actually, we've recouped the cost of our entire Beast of Burden already. And so, see, that's why I like to take a cargo animal early, is because, like, it'll allow you to kind of make a little bit more money along the way. Like, you start with such a limited inventory capacity that you can only take one job at a time, which means you're constantly, like, basically losing money between supplies and paying people. If you can pick up that Beast of Burden nice and early to get, like, the extra 3 slots, oof, there you go. Then you're in good shape, because then you can take, like, 3 jobs at a time. Unfortunately, there's no jobs here, so I think we got to look for trade opportunities if we really want to make this work out for us. So I will probably do that. Let's take a look at cargo that they've got on offer. As I recall from previous plays, this place is a mining place, so they produce marble. And so I'm guessing that marble is probably going to be a good price, but we can check it. Marble, where are you at? So we can buy marble here in Arkan, and we can sell it back in Lumen for a 1.1 profit. We can take it over to there, and we'll get 2 in profit for each one that we sell. Means roughly every 5 that we carry is going to give us a bros. Okay. I think it's doable. Let's resupply first, though. We know roughly what the supply cost is going to be for us to come up here, so we're going to need 364. There we go. Oh, nope. I was down by 50. Oh, well. Apparently math is not an exceeding skill that I've been blessed with. But we've got our supplies. We're all good to go right there. So I'm going to pick up the marble over here. We can take 48 marble with us, which should net us a profit with 48 every 5. So that should get us 9 bros. That should at least take care of our overhead and paying everybody and pay for the food, which we just did. And it gets us back to the quest center. So, like, all things considered, I'll take it. We are limited right there by our carrying capacity, unfortunately. But we'll go ahead and end our day here, and I'll head back on down to Torzag's. Everything was fine on the way to Torzag's. No events on the road, no problems. Everything's looking good. I'm going to force march them into town, and we'll head on in. We'll approach the guards, and I've got nothing to hide, so I'll pay the gate tax. And then we can explore the city for a second. Let's go for a stroll. After leaving the market district, you walk down a fairly abandoned street leading back to the civic district when you hear alarmed voices ahead, which sounds like a chase. There he is! Get him! Someone bellows just a stone's throw away. A lean fellow runs out at breakneck speed from a side alley across the street. Almost falling over and panting, the man tries to climb a stone fence a few paces, clearly trying to get away. Yeah, we can capture him. Some of you are quick enough to pull him off the stone fence as he's about to clamber up to the top. Hey, you got him! You got the bastard! He's fleeing man, half-elf rogue, in his custody. The tainted man explains that he's a merchant of alchemy resources and herbs, and his warehouse was ransacked by this fellow. He assures you that he'll be put to trial and promises to send you a token of his gratitude. The gift arrives. Now we got 4 medical supplies. Nice. That's good. Let's go ahead and sell off all of our marble real fast. Yeah, we more or less kind of broke even. I don't know. We're gaining reputation and XP and stuff right now, too, in case you were wondering. So we've got 14 insight that we can play around with just to make our character better. I'd probably increase my authority a little bit, and I'd probably increase my resourcefulness ever so slightly so that we have more movement points. There we go. And so that's all done. But yeah, this is Vagrus. There's a lot here to chew on, and honestly, it's difficult to do an impressions preview video of this game just because of the sheer volume of things there are to play around with. Obviously, for this video, I bypassed a little bit on some of the narrative elements in order to get you guys into the Sandbox game proper, but inside every single town, there are a bunch of quests and a bunch of people to talk to and a bunch of dialogue. Like, there are tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of written words in this game, and they're all done very, very well, and it is very immersive, so keep that in mind. I don't know if I did the right thing when I covered this video, or when I covered the game this way, but I felt like it was better since we're doing kind of a preview video, just to give you like a rough synopsis. You've seen what the types of battle look like. There is kind of a, we skipped over it, but if you fight on the road, there is like a tactical battle. So there's the Darkest Dungeon style duels that you saw in the Gladiator Arena, and then there's another type of battle where you arrange your formations, and the soldiers and the outriders and the workers in your camp, they actually arrange kind of in little formations, and they fight with like large scale battles. Those are in there, but that's mostly automated. So anyways, there's a lot to consume and digest here. Vagrus, the Riven Realms. It's out in 1.0 right now, and you can get the game. It's done with its early access. I'll see y'all later. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. I'll be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the chopping block. Bye, everybody.